NASCAR, Prohibition era, street racing, hot rodding. What does all of this have to do with each other? I'm going to tie all of this together in one big bow so that you can understand, well, pretty much everything. So from 1920 to 1933, the Prohibition era was in full effect, mainly because of the 18th Amendment, which banned the illegal trade, sale, or importation of all alcohol, whiskey, liquor, everything. This was a very big issue. Why? Because millions of dollars was on the table, and people couldn't just let their hard-earned money just go, just go like that. They can't afford to just end their business because the 18th Amendment said so. No, they decided they were going to run this alcohol themselves. This is where the term hot rod came from. It came from because moonshine runners were basically adding better intake manifolds, bigger carburetors to these vehicles in order to outrun the police who was constantly on their tail. People were building extra floorboards in their vehicles to hide alcohol. They were creating extra tanks, hidden compartments and everything, all to hide the alcohol from the police. Now, this was some strong ass whiskey, and you can more than likely smell it, but they did their best to try to conceal it, all while modding these vehicles, bro. But then Ford came out of nowhere in March 31st, 1932 with the Ford Flathead. Now, was it the first V8? Absolutely not. Hell, Chevy had a 288 small block, Cadillac had a V8, and few other people at the time, but it was relatively a small handful of companies, right? Now, the Ford Flathead was that nigga, bro. Like, this was a 45 to 60 horsepower engine with 90 foot-pounds of torque. This engine was so good that, hell, moonshine runners themselves were sending Henry Ford letters saying, look, my nigga, bro, you ate with this engine. Bro, like, you the GOAT. Like, there's no other way to put it. It's like if somebody stole a Hellcat and hit up Tim Taniskis and said, hey, man, this motherfucker pulling, man. This motherfucker pulling. Now, follow what I'm saying now. After prohibition laws ended in 1933, people were still stuck with these souped up vehicles. They loved the thrill of driving extremely fast. So what they did was go down and do a lot of unofficial races at Daytona Beach. This was the birthplace of street racing. Then December 1947 got here. A man named Bill Francis Sr. saw, well, this form of racing is popular. People like going to Daytona Beach and running the hell out of those cars. This is what we're going to do. We're going to legitimize it, but we're going to make it organized. We're also going to have rules and regulations. This form of racing became known as NASCAR.